It was our third anniversary, and I could already feel the knot of anxiety tightening in my stomach. It always happened when Randy was involved. He strolled in 2 hours late, all smiles and excuses. But what he said next was the last straw. I knew right then he had to go. Hi, everyone. I'm Carol, and I want to share something that happened to me a while ago. I'm still reeling from it, even months later. Before I begin, let me ask you, where are you listening from today? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear where you all are. It all started 3 years prior, with a flooded bathroom. I lived in a cute little apartment downtown, perfect for a single woman just starting her career. One Tuesday morning, I woke up to the sound of water gurgling ominously. I stepped out of bed and instantly sunk ankle deep into a miniature lake. Panic set in. I frantically called the building management, who promised to send someone right away. That someone was Randy. He arrived with a toolbox and a charming smile, immediately assessing the situation with a professional air. He was tall, with kind eyes, and a reassuring demeanor. Within an hour, he'd stopped the leak and was explaining the extent of the damage. "Looks like a burst pipe," he said, wiping his brow with a handkerchief. "I can fix it, but it's going to take a couple of days to dry everything out and replace the damaged drywall." And just like that, Randy was a fixture in my life. He worked diligently, and we chatted as he worked. I learned he was a plumber, self-employed, and fiercely proud of his trade. He told me about his dreams of starting his own plumbing business, his love for classic cars, and his complicated relationship with his family. I, in turn, shared my ambitions as a junior marketing manager, my love for old movies, and my longing for a stable, loving relationship. We quickly fell for each other. He was attentive, funny, and seemed genuinely interested in everything I had to say. Our dates were simple: pizza nights at my apartment, walks in the park, the occasional movie, but they were filled with laughter and easy conversation. He made me feel safe, cherished, and for the first time in a long time, truly happy. However, the cracks started to appear sooner than I'd anticipated. Randy's plumbing gigs were sporadic. Some weeks he'd be swamped, and others he'd be completely idle. This meant his income was equally unpredictable. At first, I didn't mind. I was doing well at work and happy to treat him to dinner or cover the cost of a movie.
But soon, it became clear that I was subsidizing a significant portion of our life together. "I'm just waiting for this big contract to come through, Carol," he'd say, his voice laced with optimism. "Once that happens, we'll be set. I promise, I'll make it up to you." I wanted to believe him. I loved him. So I kept paying for things. The rent for the apartment we eventually shared, the groceries, the utilities, even the occasional unexpected car repair. It was starting to stretch my budget, but I told myself it was temporary. Then came the car. Randy had always dreamed of owning a 2015 Mustang, a cherry red beauty he'd seen at a local dealership. He'd talk about it endlessly, describing its sleek lines, powerful engine, and the feeling of freedom it represented. One day, he came to me, his face etched with worry. "Carol, I'm in a bind," he confessed.
"I'm behind on my car payments, and they're threatening to repossess it. I don't know what I'm going to do." Against my better judgment, I offered to help. I knew it was a terrible idea, a financial black hole I shouldn't even peek into. But the thought of Randy losing his beloved Mustang, the glimmer of hope in his eyes fading, was too much to bear. I paid off the remaining balance on the car loan, $16,000. $16,000 of my hard-earned money, gone in an instant. He swore he'd pay me back, of course. He promised to work even harder, to take on extra jobs, to scrimp and save until every penny was returned. I wanted to believe him, but deep down I knew it was unlikely. Our anniversary was on a Saturday. I had made reservations at a nice Italian restaurant. All our friends were going to be there.
I had bought a new dress and was really excited to celebrate our 3 years together. I really thought we were going to get engaged. The reservations were for 7 p.m. By 7:30 p.m., Randy was nowhere to be seen. I was starting to get embarrassed. Our friends kept asking where he was and if everything was okay. I just kept making up excuses for him. 8 p.m. rolled around, and finally Randy came sauntering into the restaurant, like he didn't have a care in the world. Sorry I'm late, everyone. Had a plumbing emergency? He kissed me quickly on the cheek and sat down. He didn't even apologize to me for being late. He started talking to our friends, telling a long, boring story about the plumbing emergency. Like I wasn't even there. Then came the words that ended everything. One of our friends asked Randy if he was nervous. I was going to leave him since he was so late.
Randy laughed and said, "Nah, Carol will wait for me. She's like a pathetic little puppy." The words hung in the air, sharp and cruel. The laughter around the table faded, replaced by an uncomfortable silence. My face burned with humiliation. I felt like I was going to be sick. He really didn't appreciate me at all. I realized that I was nothing more than a doormat to him. Someone to pay his bills, someone to take care of him, someone to laugh at behind my back. I had enough. I calmly ordered another glass of wine, excused myself to the restroom, and locked the door behind me. I leaned against the cool tile wall, trying to catch my breath. My mind was racing, a whirlwind of anger, hurt, and a burning desire for revenge. I thought about all the money I had wasted on him, all the sacrifices I had made, all the dreams I had put on hold. I was so angry and wanted him to feel the same way I was feeling. I sat on the toilet seat and opened my phone. I knew Randy's passwords. He wasn't the brightest and had used the same passwords for almost everything. I logged into his bank account and canceled his car payment. I also logged into his phone company and canceled his service. That's what he got for calling me a puppy. But that wasn't enough. I went to his email account and found the contact information for his boss and his parents. He had a voice recorder app on his phone, so I opened that up. I knew he had recorded himself complaining about his boss and parents. I sent those recordings to the appropriate people. That would show him. I took a deep breath and stared at my reflection in the mirror. I straightened my dress, reapplied my lipstick, and smoothed my hair. When I came back to the table, no one seemed to notice anything. They were all laughing and talking, and Randy was in the middle of another story. I went back to our apartment. I packed up all of Randy's belongings. Every shirt, every pair of shoes, every stupid, ugly possession he owned. I loaded everything into my car and drove to the nearest dump. I threw everything away. Every little bit of him was now in the trash. When I got back, I changed the locks on the door. I blocked his number on my phone and all of my social media. He wouldn't be able to contact me ever again. I was finally free. The next morning, the phone rang incessantly. It was Randy, of course. He had no idea what was coming. I ignored the calls, a small smile playing on my lips. He managed to reach me through a friend's phone. He was furious, screaming and shouting, demanding to know where his stuff was.
I simply hung up. The consequences were swift and satisfying. His boss was furious about the recording and put him on probation. His parents were hurt and disappointed, and their relationship became strained. The car was repossessed, leaving him stranded and humiliated. A few months later, I heard through mutual friends that Randy had lost his job completely. He had started dating Amber, a girl from work, but their relationship was toxic and volatile. He was miserable, broke, and alone. Meanwhile, I was thriving. I found a new apartment, even better than the last one, closer to my work. I adopted a cat, a fluffy ginger named Oliver, who brought me endless joy and companionship. I started planning a solo trip to Europe, something I had always dreamed of doing. I was saving the money I used to spend on Randy, investing in myself and my future. It wasn't easy.
There were moments of doubt, moments of guilt, moments where I wondered if I had gone too far. But then I remembered his cruel words, his constant lies, and the way he had taken me for granted. And I knew I had done the right thing. I learned a valuable lesson from that experience. A lesson about self-respect, about standing up for myself, and about not letting anyone treat me like a pathetic puppy. I deserved better, and I finally realized it. I also learned a lesson about revenge. It's not always the answer, but sometimes it's the only way to truly move on. To reclaim your power, to heal your wounds, and to create a better future for yourself. And now, as I sit here, sipping my tea and watching Oliver chase a sunbeam across the floor, I can honestly say that I'm happy, I'm free, and I'm finally truly at peace. Some people break you down to nothing.
Others inspire you to become everything you're meant to be. If you like this story, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more just like it.